Does anyone genuinely believe that we're going to solve the climate crisis? My name is Toddington Harper. I've been working in pursuit of this goal for more than 20 years, and I believe we can. But if we're going to be the change makers, and by that, I mean the ones that actually turn this around and deliver the solutions and the impact that the world's leading scientists have been telling us for decades that we must deliver, then first of all, we need to accept that despite all the incredible solutions delivered by the most passionate people and companies across the world, collectively, what we're doing isn't working. We're going to miss the mark. I was told Einstein coined the phrase that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. Well, we need a different result. The future of humanity, in fact, the future of all life on this planet, is counting on us to deliver a different result. So we need to approach this in a different way. We need to be bold. We need to have the confidence, the belief in ourselves, to chart a different path, to go against the grain, because only by doing so can we deliver a different outcome. And before I shine more of a light in that direction, I'm just going to take us back to where we came from. Because the oil lamp in this graphic, which 150 years ago, I'm sure it will shock many of you to know that these lamps that we use to light our homes, to light our streets, and to grease the oil that greased the machinery of the Industrial Revolution wasn't derived from kerosene. It was derived from nothing other than whale oil. Can you believe that? These majestic animals were hunted in their hundreds of thousands across the world by a flotilla of more than 700 ships, whaling ships, to kill these incredible creatures. Why? Because within their skin, their blubber, we could get oil, an oil that was prized for its clean burning properties and its incredible lubrication qualities, even in very cold temperatures. These animals were hunted to the brink of extinction. But in 1859, Edwin Drake in Pennsylvania drilled the first oil well. And from this oil well, came kerosene. And kerosene provided a viable alternative for humanity. In fact, it's not too much to say that as a result of kerosene, which is a fossil fuel, this probably brought the whales back from the brink of extinction. We therefore need to be bold enough to appreciate and to recognize and to say that just because fossil fuels these days are getting a pretty bad rep, there's a lot that not just the whales, but us, we've got to be grateful for from fossil fuels. From the incredible innovation that we have in transport, being able to go across the country at a whim, and across the world to see places that would otherwise be completely unobtainable, to see loved ones, to see family, to see friends who've gone to far places. Thank you for that. To be able to heat our homes or cool our homes, irrespective of whether it's winter or it's summer. We've got fossil fuels to thank for that. And when we go to our supermarkets and we see shelves flooded with food, not just the shelves themselves that are made from plastic derived from fossil fuels, but the food itself. Did you know that most of the fertilizers used to grow food is derived from fossil fuels as well? And that's made our soil so much more plentiful than it otherwise would have been. And from that food, we're able to cook it in such exquisite ways and experience culinary delights that would have otherwise been unobtainable. We're able to communicate through the use of cables, which are wrapped in materials derived from fossil fuels. And the Industrial Revolution and GDP and everything that has created so much financial opportunities for our planet, so much of this has been derived from fossil fuels, which we need to be grateful for. And beyond the obvious, when it comes to medicine, we also need to appreciate that within fossil fuels, we have petrochemicals. And are you aware that petrochemicals are responsible for being the fundamental building blocks of so many medicines that today we take for granted? And when we go to hospital, unfortunately, aren't we happy that we have single-use plastics that prevent the spread of diseases and lead to more successful operations? So the truth is that there's a lot that we've got to be grateful for from fossil fuels. But of course, as we're well aware, this hasn't come without consequences. And as Al Gore so brilliantly phrased it all those years ago, the inconvenient truth about fossil fuels is that we cannot continue to keep using them in the way that we have been. Fundamentally, they're not going to last forever. They're called fossil fuels. That means they were made hundreds of millions of years ago. So within our lifetimes, they're not going to be able to regenerate. What we've got, we've got. When it's gone, it's gone. And there's so many incredible materials that we need from fossil fuels. So we need to start caring about and protecting about what we have left and viewing fossil fuels in a different perspective than just burning them. Because as we're also aware, when you burn fossil fuels, it creates air pollution. Air pollution leads to ill health and all of the horrendous outcomes that can come from that. And of course, within fossil fuels, when we release them, there's a gas that we can't see, but we can now feel the impact of, and that's carbon dioxide emissions. And we're releasing it in huge quantities. Are you aware that when you use a kilowatt hour of electricity, we emit on average around the world up to half a kilogram of carbon dioxide? That's half a bag of sugar from 1 kilowatt hour of electricity. Are you aware that when we drive a kilometre in a petrol car, that we emit around 200 grams of carbon per kilometre? So 5 kilometres, that's a whole bag of sugar. And that carbon dioxide is forming a blanket around the world, and that blanket is heating the world up. It's getting thicker and thicker all of the time. And the inconvenient truth about this, the inconvenient truth about climate change, is that it is happening. We don't want it to be happening. Humans are inherently creatures of habit. We don't like change. We like things the way they used to be. But just because we don't want it to be real doesn't mean it isn't real. And just because we can't see it on a daily basis doesn't mean it isn't happening. In fact, we can now see it on a yearly basis, and it's getting worse. We're getting almost used to footage that we see across the world of wildfires. We're getting used to hearing about severe droughts. We're seeing floods as if they're commonplace. We're seeing the sea rise in front of us. We're seeing diseases that are starting to spread. And with huge regret, we are starting to see the first movements of mass migration. People who don't want to move, they want to stay where they are, but they can't because their lands are becoming inhospitable. So, if we're going to turn this around, if we're actually going to be the change makers, what is it that we need to do about this? Well, we have this blanket of gases that's getting thicker and thicker. And the world's leading scientists have told us that if it gets to a certain thickness, temperatures are going to rise by 1.5 degrees of warming. We're already at about 1.2 degrees of warming, by the way, and we know what that looks like. And unfortunately, the thickness of that blanket is increasing so rapidly that we're going to get to 2 degrees or beyond it in no time at all. The scientists have also calculated that if we don't let that blanket increase, in fact, we maintain it at a level that is relatively safe, we can keep temperature rises to within 1.5 degrees of warming. But we haven't got long to do that. We need to reduce around 59 gigatons, so that's 59 billion tons of annual carbon emissions by 2050, so that's less than 25 years, in order to keep temperature rises within 1.5 degrees of warming. That is a huge task. how is that even going to be possible? And to make it more difficult, we need to get halfway there within the next decade. So how are we going to do that? How is that possible? If that were possible, we need a solution that's available today. We need a solution that's available for everybody to be able to grab and use and harness today, because we haven't got any time. We'd have to have a solution that is commercially viable, that it makes economic sense, because if it's not going to make economic sense, it's not going to work. Let's be honest and open about this. We need something so huge, so enormous, that we can grab and we can use today. But where are we going to find that? Well, we're certainly not going to find that looking down. We're certainly not going to find that in despair. But if we take a moment and we look up in hope, and we really appreciate what's in front of us, we have something called the sun. And the sun is a nuclear fusion reactor that gives the world every hour more clean energy than we consume in an entire year. Every hour of every day, the sun provides that energy. Isn't that amazing? Absolutely incredible. We just need to harvest some of that and harness it and use it. But I hear you thinking to yourself, is it really possible? Can we use the sun? I know solar panels work, but, is it really possible to replace all of our energy needs to run the world on solar energy? Well, not only is it possible, but by the way, we're already doing it. So if you go back those 300 million years ago, and you think about where did all the energy in fossil fuels come from? People have asked a lot of people this question, and a lot of people look down, they say it must have come from the ground. Okay, well, kind of, but how did it get into the ground? Where did it come from? It was absorbed by plants and animals eaten by animals, and algae through photosynthesis all those years ago. So all of the energy in oil and gas is already from the sun. It's just old sunshine. And what about renewable energy? Well, it might surprise you that the energy in renewable energy is also from the sun. And I don't just mean solar panels, and I'll get to them in a moment, but I mean the energy in biomass, wood, the energy in hydro. Did you know that the sun's energy that heats water, that condenses water, which falls as rain into our rivers, which drives momentum, which we harness through turbines, is also as a result of the sun? Did you know that when the sun hits the world, this incredible amount of energy falling every hour of every day, depending on what surface it hits, it creates different impacts and different pressure, and that causes air to move around. That creates wind. So wind is also solar powered. And solar panels themselves, oh my goodness, are they not amazing? In the last 40 years, did you know that the cost of solar energy is less than 1% of what it was 40 years ago? That's a 99.5% reduction. This is a technology where costs are coming down. Isn't that incredible? And so much so that generating energy from solar energy is now the lowest cost form of energy in so many countries around the world. Did you also think about where the energy in all our food comes from? All of the calories in all of our food? Well, I'm sure it won't surprise you now, given what I've said, to recognize that energy also comes from the sun. And what powers us? We are powered by food. Our food is powered by the sun. That makes us solar powered too. Isn't that awesome? So it's pretty clear that we have a unique opportunity as humanity, a unique opportunity to seize this opportunity that the future generations will thank us for, and we uniquely have an opportunity that they will never have again. But to take advantage of it, we need to stop looking down in despair, and we need to look up in hope. And just knowing that there's a solution isn't the same as delivering that solution. To do that, we need to come together as humanity in a way that we are just not doing. And to do so, we need to be putting aside our divisions. We need to get out of our camps, out of our silos. I'm in oil, I'm in gas, I'm in renewables, I'm in wind. This is good, this is bad. It's all sunshine. And we are all solar powered. We have a window of opportunity. We have the solution. It's commercially viable. It's available to all of us. And it's a vision for a future where we can all come together as humanity and solve the biggest challenge that anyone on this planet has ever been asked to address. And you know what? Let's just do it. It's time, everybody, citizens of this planet, it's time to look up. Thank you.